Hi there, Sew Yours family. This is Melissa with Sew Yours, and today I am bringing you a brand new sewing tutorial on my latest sewing pattern called the Simply Scarf Tote. Now, I know I said I was not going to do any more sewing patterns for 2025. I kind of lied and I kind of didn't. That is because this pattern is a PDF pattern piece only pattern. You are not going to get any written instructions nor step-by-step photographs. In today's video, we will quickly go over the basic construction on the box corner tote. We will also do an in-depth review on the hidden strap connectors, a quick overview on the grommet installation, and that is what you're going to get for today's tutorial to make this beautiful bag. We are just giving you the pattern pieces to create the shell of the bag. You're not going to get any recessed zipper panels. You're not getting any slip pockets. You're not getting any zipper pockets, but you could certainly add those however you'd like. It's a pretty quick and easy install if you want to add those additional features. I can see a zipper pocket here on the back that would look great and be perfect for your cell phone. I would also think that a slip pocket and a zipper pocket would be great inside of this bag. So make this tote your own. You could also add a recessed zipper panel. Do keep in mind that it will be a little bit deeper in the bag because we had to make the room for the scarf here. Likewise, if you wanted to add 2 magnetic snaps here on the inside of the lining and then just have the bag close like that, that is an option for you as well, and you could certainly do that with your Simply Scarf Tote. This one was my prototype, and I chose our Harrison suede in the color peacock and navy blue. Love that two-tone look, and it really works well with many of the scarves that we have to offer. We've got a lot of those colors in the scarves. For the lining, I went with one of our waterproof canvases, and I did initially do a zipper pocket for the lining, but like I said, the pattern does not include any pockets, so you can add those however you'd like. For our customers who would like to purchase one of our brand new scarves, you are automatically going to receive this sewing pattern for free with your scarf purchase. The download option will be available in the checkout process for you. Now, if you are international or for our customers who already have their favorite 12-inch by 12-inch scarf that you would like to use on your tote, we are making this pattern available for purchase at a budget-friendly price on our website that is going to be separate from the scarf listing. This pattern assumes that you have a confident beginner to an intermediate bag making skill level and are comfortable with working through the pattern pieces alone or watching the video to learn how to make your very own tote, since we don't have the written instructions. When you're done watching this video, be sure to check out our other new videos. One where I show you all 10 exclusive scarf designs. Here is a little sneak peek at a few of the designs that I came up with. This is imitation silk. They are 12-inch by 12-inch scarves. The other video, I go through all the different ways that you can tie your scarf through your grommets, around your handle, through your rectangle rings. The possibilities are endless, and you can switch up the look with the outfit that you're wearing. So this is a really fun tote bag. I am super proud of it. I know you guys are going to love it as much as I do. So let's just jump in and start making up our Simply Scarf Tote. Fabric and supplies needed are as follows. Keep in mind, if you are using a cotton fabric or any fabric that has a subtle one-way stretch, consider adding woven interfacing to the wrong side of those pieces. I am not doing that since I am working with vinyl fabric and our liner text, which does not require that. So first up, we have pattern piece A. You're going to need 4 exteriors of those. Pattern piece B, you're going to need 2 exteriors and 2 linings. Pattern piece C, which is your strap connectors, you'll need 2 exterior. Pattern piece D, your hidden connector facings, you're going to need 4 of those. Pattern piece E is your stabilizer. I recommend Decaville Light right here, so I've got my 2 pieces of stabilizer. And lastly, we have our shoulder straps. I recommend cutting your shoulder straps 4 inches wide by roughly 29 inches long. However, depending on how tall or short you are, you can lengthen or shorten that, but I find out 29 inches is a nice length. Hardware kits are available for the Simply Scarf Tote. They are going to include 4 1-inch wide strap ends. These are optional. You don't need to use those if you're not purchasing a hardware kit from us. 4 1-inch wide rectangle rings. You are going to need 2 grommets, either round grommets or oblong grommets, completely up to you. We'll be using the round grommets in today's video. You could also skip the grommets if you do not want to thread your scarves through the holes and you'd rather just tie the scarf around the handle. You'll need 12 rivets that are 9mm by 9mm, and another optional piece is a handmade bag tag or a custom bag tag if you have one of those. The hardware kits are going to include the handmade bag tag. This pattern does not include any pockets or recessed zipper panels or magnetic closures. So if you've chosen to add a recessed zipper panel, a couple of magnets for your top closure, or a zipper pocket in either your back exterior or your lining, then you of course are going to need either 2 magnetic snaps, zipper pulls, and zipper tape, whatever you'd like. Make this bag your own. This is just a simple tote bag to get you going, and then you can build it however you'd like. Sew up your shoulder straps now to get those out of the way because it's no fun having to make shoulder straps after you've constructed your purse. Then follow that up by constructing your strap connectors. In the earlier clip, I showed the strap connectors much longer. I realized that I actually doubled the width. So these are actually supposed to be 2 inches by 6 inches, 2 pieces. What you'll do is you'll draw a line down the center length, fold in the raw edge to meet that center line drawn. And then you're simply going to come in and top stitch along both edges here at 1/4 inch. Once you've done that, you will fold this into half and create 2 connectors here and 2 connectors here for a total of 4. Now you're going to join A with B, placing those right sides together, matching the centers. So make sure that for piece A, you are joining the longer side with the top of B. Clip this into place, and all of our seam allowances in this pattern is 3/8 of an inch with top stitching at 1/8 of an inch, unless I state otherwise. So we are going to sew this in place with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, and then we are going to do that for both our exterior pieces and both of our lining pieces, like I've done here. You're going to flip A up, and you are going to come in and top stitch along the top edge right here of pattern piece B, like I have done on my lining. Do that for both exteriors and both linings. All right, here is what the exterior looks like top stitched. And when I did the top stitching, I did do the seam allowance to the down position. I then took my quilting ruler and measured in 1/2 of an inch from all sides. This is going to tell me how to perfectly center my stabilizer piece, which is my deck of a light, on the wrong side here. So I'm going to take this over to my heat press and iron this into place. Do that for both your exterior pieces. Now we are going to go through the steps on how to do the hidden strap connectors like I have done on this side right here. So we're going to set that one aside and let's walk through this. So first up, take your pattern piece A, and you're going to place that on the right side of your pattern piece A that's already been sewn to B. Center that, clip it into place like I have right here. Grab your mini cutting mat, and you are going to put that behind your fabric. Grab your X-Acto knife, and right here on the pattern piece, I've got cut slit here for hidden strap connector. All you're going to do then is you're going to trace that line with your X-Acto knife, making sure that you cut through all the layers, which I have already done on this one. Repeat that for the opposite side to create the slit where we're going to slide in our hidden connector facings. Grab one of your hidden connector facings, and you are going to insert it into the slit that you just created. I've already done it on this side. So what you want to do is put it right sides together with the pattern piece A right here, sliding it in from the top down. If you need to cut the slit a little bit longer, feel free to do that. Just don't cut it too large. You want it pretty snug. And when you slide this through, have it slid through about 3/8 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I've slid that through. Just going to make it even with my other one. And what we want to do now, which I've done on this one right here, is you're going to come in and sew along this edge right here at about 1/8 of an inch from the cut edge. It's important not to sew off of your hidden strap connector. So we want to do that on this side as well. This is what the back looks like sewn. So you'll have it sewn right here. If it's easier for you to sew with the wrong side up at your machine, so that way you can make sure you're catching this layer, feel free to do that. All right, both of those are now sewn into place. And we want to pull our hidden connectors through the slit. So this is what's making the facing. So just get that corner, hold it, pushed inside of there, and then pull it through. Do the same thing for the other one. And then we just want to make it look pretty from the side, so give it a nice pull. All right, that is good. And when you're doing this, it's important that your thread color matches pattern piece A, so that way you don't see your stitching, especially in the next step. So the next step is going to be to insert our strap connectors. And the way that we want to do that is we are going to insert them from the bottom up towards the top, right sides together. You're just going to pull it through like this. Do the other one as well. And again, you can pull it through about 3/8 of an inch, 1/2 of an inch. It doesn't really matter. There's going to be excess that we'll trim down later. Now you want to come in and top stitch along this side of the connector about 1/8 of an inch away from the opening. So for me, it's easier to do this from the wrong side. That way I can make sure that I'm catching this edge right here, which is the cut edge. So we're going to make our stitching right here. Now it's also a good idea to switch over to your zipper foot or your narrow presser foot. So I have 1/8 of an inch narrow presser foot for my Juki TL18 QVP. So I'll be switching over to that. So make sure that you sew along this edge and this side at about 1/8 of an inch. And you can see here that that is now sewn. And this is what it looks like from the back side. All we have to do is add our rectangle ring right now. So we're going to slide that on just like this. And we're going to take this edge and push it back through the hole. And then get all these to kind of go in the down position. Flip your rectangle ring up and just make sure that your strap connectors pull nice and snug, that it looks even with this one. And we'll add our rivets. So I like to add a rivet by using the side of the rivet that does not have the post. And I like to just make an impression where I want it to be. So I'll kind of lay it on here and make sure that it looks nice and centered and just where I want it to be. And then I'll press it firmly with my finger to create an indent in the vinyl. And then I will come in with my Japanese hole punch, which we sell on our website. And we are just going to come in and punch a hole and insert our rivet. And we want to be making sure that we're going through all these layers right here. Repeat this for the opposite side. Make sure you set your rivets, which I have now done. So here is what your exterior panel is going to look like. And another thing that I like to do is I'll come in and trim away this excess of the strap connectors because we don't need all this extra here. So just removing that bulk. So I'm going to do that for both pieces. So let's recap where we're at now. We have both exterior pieces and our hidden strap connectors in place. We also have our lining. And if you decided to do the recessed zipper panel on your own, which again is not in this pattern, then you would have your recessed zipper panel already sewn between pieces A and B. From here, if you're deciding to add your own slip pockets and zipper pockets to your lining, you can do that now. Likewise, if you want to add a zipper pocket to your back exterior of your bag, you can do that as well on your back exterior. I am going to grab one of my exterior panels and now add my bag tag, centering it here on the pattern piece A. I didn't do this already, but before this pattern is released, I'm going to add a placement marking that I suggest for your bag tag. I just like to have it nice and centered here. So I'm going to do it about there. Now, if you got the hardware kit from us, then you can add the handmade bag tag. So whichever one, but let me get that installed. My bag tag is installed 1.5 inches down from the top center, and I have updated pattern piece A with the placement marking, so you guys can use that to transfer your bag tag placement to your exterior panel. Got my front exterior here, so I am calling this my back exterior. And the reason being is our front exterior is going to be the side that has the grommets. So if you're using the grommets, this is your front exterior. And this here is your back exterior. And you can see here, I've got a scarf wrapped around this side. So perhaps today I feel like having my scarf through the grommets, and this is going to be the front of my bag. So when I'm carrying it, this will be against my body. But maybe tomorrow I am feeling like having this the front of my bag. So we've got the bag tag, which looks really sharp here in the center. And then I wrap my scarf around the handle like this. So it gets you different looks with this bag. Make sure that you watch the other video that I do where I show you all the different ways you can wrap and tie your scarf on your Simply Scarf Tote. So make sure you check that out on the YouTube channel. Place your exterior panels right sides together, clip along the bottom edge, and sew at 3/8 of an inch. Once that's sewn, open and top stitch along the left and the right sides of that bottom seam, making sure that your seam allowances are in the opposite directions. Clip the left and the right sides, making sure that where A and B come together are matched up perfectly. Sew with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Box your corners, matching up the side and bottom seams, opening your seam allowances to opposite directions. Clip in place and sew this with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Do the opposite side as well. Trim down your seam allowances to about 1/8 of an inch along the sides and the bottom, with the exception of the top couple of inches. Do not trim that down. Place your lining panels right sides together, clip in place, sew down the left and the right sides, starting at 3/8 of an inch and beginning to taper it wider to about 5/8 of an inch along these sides. Then you are going to do the same thing for the bottom, but you're going to make it at 5/8 of an inch. When I first started, I did it at the 3/8 and realized that I did that wrong. So I picked my stitches. So again, 3/8 of an inch tapered to 5/8 of an inch on the sides, bottom at 5/8 of an inch, and then box your corners at 5/8 of an inch. Trim down your seam allowances, and I didn't even mention in that last clip here, you want to leave the bottom open, so you're only sewing in on the bottom edge a couple of inches, so that way you have what it looks like about a 6 or an 8-inch gap here. That is where we will birth our bag in a moment. So my lining is done, and my exterior are done. Let's turn the exterior right side out. Now we are going to insert that into our lining. If you've decided to do a zipper pocket in here and you want the zipper pocket to be on the back side, then you want to pair up the side with your bag tag along and match it up with the side with the lining zipper pocket. But if you don't have a preference, it doesn't matter. Or in this instance, I don't have any pockets, so we are just going to insert this inside. Match up your side seams, your centers, and clip into place. Sew along this top edge at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Also make sure that when you are clipping these into place that your rectangle rings are in the down position so they don't get in the way when you are sewing your top edge. Trim down the seam allowance and turn right side out through the opening here in the lining. Clip the top edge and then top stitch at either 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch, whichever you prefer. My Simply Scarf Tote is now top stitched. The next thing that we want to do is close up the hole in the lining by pulling that out and sewing along this edge at 1/8 of an inch. Push the lining back down inside, and now it is time for us to install our grommets if you have chosen to do the grommets. So you'll need either your round or your oblong grommets, as well as one of your templates, depending on which grommet that you are using. So today I'm doing the round grommet, so I will be using that template. You'll want to cut a hole in the paper template right here. If you are using the 24-piece hole punch set that we sell on our website, you want to select the largest circle, and you can simply use that to cut out the paper template as well as your fabric. Make sure that you have your little mini cutting mat to protect your work surface. So you can use your hammer and just cut the paper out with that as well as for your fabric. So what we want to do now is we want to find the center of our front exterior. So I'm going to match up my side seams. And I'm going to grab my little chalk pen right here and mark my center. And then this is the center of the template right here. So you're going to match that up with the top edge of the bag, clip it into place. And I've only punched one hole. I'm just going to flip my template over when I'm done instead of punching both holes, but you can do both if you want. So I like to do this on the corner of my table because it allows me to kind of take the corner of the table and put it a little bit inside of my bag. It's just something that I found that's a little bit easier. But you can do this with just your cutting mat in between these two layers so that way you're not punching through everything. Either way is fine. You want to trace and transfer over the hole here that you're going to be punching. So I'm just using my chalk pencil here. If you have a air erasable pen, you can do that. So I've done that. Now I just flip the template over and do the opposite side. So I can see through the paper right here where the center mark is. Get everything lined up. And repeat for this side. And there's my markings. Now I wanted to point out that you can use the template that's included in the pattern, but if you want your grommets spaced closer together, absolutely you can do that. You can move them in a little bit if you want. You could space them out. You don't have a lot of room here to space them out because you're going to get into the hardware here for the rectangle ring. The more that you space it out, the shorter the scarf is going to be when you tie it on your bag. The closer together that you do it, the longer the tails are going to be. It all depends on the way and the method that you are tying your scarf. I just found that this was the nicest and presentable way to do it with the 12-inch scarf. When you just do the basic tie right here, the scarf falls pretty much even with the base of the bag. So the next step is to just simply punch my holes. So placing the mini mat here behind, going to grab the punch and my hammer, and I'll do this off camera because it's kind of loud, but I'm just going to smack it real good to puncture through all the layers of both my exterior and this lining side right here. And I'll do that for both sides. My holes are now punched. Now the hole size here is correlating with the screw-in grommets that we sell on our website, which are also in the hardware kit. Your hole size may vary if you're using a grommet that is larger or smaller. I really wouldn't recommend going with a grommet size that has a smaller diameter of, I think these are 13.5 millimeters, because it'll be harder to feed the scarf through, but you have some room here to go a little bit larger if you want. So once your holes are punched, the next step is that you need to also get clearance here where the little screw holes are for your screws to be placed in. So you can simply put them on the bag just like this and transfer over the hole markings with your air erasable pen or your chalk pen, pencil, I should say, that I have right here. And then you can come in with your Japanese hole punch and then punch out those holes. I would probably increase my tip size a little bit because this is going to be a little bit too narrow. So I'm going to get that done now off camera. Get all these little pieces off of here. If you want to see like the whole entire step of me doing this and installing these specific grommets, which are screw-in grommets, so they have the grommets on the back. They don't require you to set them with a press or anything like that. Then you can check out the Uptown Swing sewing pattern tutorial video that I have on my channel where I go through the whole entire steps on doing that. My grommets are now installed, and that's what it looks like from the inside. All you have to do now is attach your shoulder straps, so get that done. And there she is, my Simply Scarf Tote with the handles on and the scarf threaded through the grommets. This is the basic way that you can do it. Just putting the scarf through both of the grommets and then tying it into a knot. Check out the description box for that video where I show you all the different ways that you can tie your scarf through the grommets or around the handle for many creative ways to display your scarves. Love this bag because you can take a simple bag and just change it up daily to match the colors that you are wearing. Don't forget there are hardware kits for this bag on our website. and you can purchase all of the scarves. We've got 10 different designs on our website where you're going to get this free pattern included with your scarf purchase. Thank you so much for sewing along with me today. I cannot wait to see your Simply Scarf Totes. Be sure to share photos in our Facebook group or email me at contact@sewyours.com. I would love to see them. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Now that I've sewn mine, it's time to sew yours.